Page 68, Twilight Song. Supposedly this book, or this piece, gives you a chance to use what they call forearm playing, and that's where you're hinging at the elbow and using the whole arm because of all these chords. Let's look at the first measure. You have an F and a C in the left hand and an F and an A here. You're playing them together. You have to lower the hands on this. You don't use the fingers to do it. So they're saying you use the whole arm. Okay, that's a technique to do it. Another one would be to keep the arm relatively still and just use the wrists. But this forearm technique is used a lot, so let's use it in this piece. We're going to just keep the wrists loose. Let them collapse a little bit with each note, but it's not staccato, so you connect them as best you can. Like so, throughout the piece. So go through it one hand at a time and work out what these chords are. You spell out the chord each time if you have to. For instance, in the third measure over, spell out the chord. It'll be, and you start with the bottom note and you work it out one note at a time. So it's an F and a D, an F and a B flat. There's a B flat in the key signature. I forgot to go through that because I got caught up in the forearm thingy. But yes, the 3/4 time and the one flat, it's in F major. Get that out of the way. We just need to know that we understand all that. Second line, you have a B flat, C, E, G. So work out throughout this whole thing, all these chords. And we get over to page 69. At the end of the first line, the bottom staff, they're introducing treble clef. So now both staves, starting with the second line, are in treble clef. So now you're up here. Basically, you're playing what you played in the line above it, an octave higher. And then you get your bass clef back for the left hand. Come down here. See, I leave the right hand there, and I move here. Now, you got 2 beat rests. You could move both hands down. But I'll move the hand that's playing first, and then as it's playing, I'll move the other hand. Watch the fingering here in the third line there in the right hand. 2/4, because we got a D coming up. So follow their fingering. Fourth line down, third measure, treble clef back. In the left hand, it's here. Fingering in the right hand, 2/4 here, and then the last line, it's a B natural and an F and a D flat. Oh boy. And then here, and then bass clef in the left hand again. What you can do, if you'd like, in the last line on page 69 in the right hand for the second measure, where you're here, because in the next measure you got to come down here. Now the left hand you just reach down, that's fine. It's the right hand you got to move. You got to get here. What you can do in the second measure is switch from a 1/3 to a 3/5. This way your hand's a little closer. Not much. It's here versus here. It's a little closer. Well, a little bit can help. So in the second measure here, the first one is here, and then change. And then you're a little closer to where you want to be. Try that out and see. We use this sometimes in pianos to help us get ready for what's coming. Then in the left hand, in that third measure, you're here. I suggest you use 5th finger, because you're here and you come down, just reach down, 5th finger, and then if you want, you can go to 2. And then 1 for the last one. Again, it prepares you for what's coming. 5th finger helped us to get this, because we need to focus on the right hand there. So the left, and then we can move. So that last line is more like this. And then here. Might help. All the time you're doing this from the elbow. Isn't that nice? Work it out slowly. So you can, when you play these chords, try and listen and See if you can get all these notes down at the same time. It's hard to do, it really is, especially when you keep changing chords. But try and get them all down at the same time. There's no real articulation. They got a slur over there at the toward the bottom of page 69 on the chord broken. You connect that. Otherwise, there's nothing going on. A few tied notes. Dynamic wise, good. Music wants to flow. It's just not a bunch of notes. It needs to move somewhere, and we can give that illusion of movement through the dynamics. So here, and I suggest that crescendo, you might consider that going all the way to the third measure, but make it a slow crescendo because you're not getting very loud here. Just a little louder. There, and then come back down. Same thing, second line. There, that's where you're headed. And then come back. By the way, that's an E in the right hand there. And then you do that again. Then at the bottom they say soft. I would put in a little swell there too. Here, go to here, and then come here. Just so the whole line isn't the same dynamic. Ugh. Get to know it well enough that you can feel it, and you experiment with the dynamics and see if you can't get them up and down and a little louder and softer here and there, so it isn't the same all the way across. And you play it different at different times. That's the beauty of it. Keep experimenting, keep changing it. At the bottom of page 69, there's a poco ritardando there where you slow down a little bit and get softer. How much you slow down is up to you, and how much softer you get is up to you. That's just the general guide, because in the line above it, you're already very soft here. And that's both hands, just keep both hands the same. See, you're already very soft. And then you're getting softer. You might want to, on this very soft, you might want to play that a little louder. To here. And then come up a little bit. And then you've got more room to get softer. You have to experiment with the dynamics, because if you're already really soft, you can't get a much softer than that. Let's try this out together. I'm not going to do the dynamics. I just want to make sure that we get the chords. And it's kind of hard to hear, are you playing the same chord? But if there's a note different, you'll probably notice something's wrong. You won't notice which note is wrong, but you'll know some note's wrong. So check all your notes in that chord, spell that chord out, make sure you got the right notes. So I'll give us 3 counts. Let's play this. 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, tie, hot, rest. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, tie, rest, rest. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, tie, rest, rest. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Two, three, tie, rest, rest.